Pope Francis, who has been hospitalized at Rome's Gemelli Hospital since February 14, is responding well to treatment for double pneumonia, according to the Vatican. And now let's get more details on that from Morning Matters host Gretchen Ho, who now joins us live from Rome still. Hi, Gretchen. What can you tell us?
Good morning, Pauline. Coming to you live from Rome, and we have good news to start your week off with. As the Pope enters his fourth week in the hospital, he has registered a slight gradual improvement. He remains to be stable over the weekend, and this time he is now able to add solid food to his diet. Those are new developments, Pauline. We haven't seen that in the past weeks. What we've seen, though, in the past Sunday is that he was able to receive the Secretary of State, Cardinal Pietro Parolin, and give an Angelus address to the Catholic faithful, thanking his doctors. He did that again on Sunday, and these are developments that we are seeing and improvements in the Pope's health. Yet, even as he's sick, the Pope continues with his fighting spirit. Also, yesterday, he was able to join his secretaries, his department secretaries, or what we call the Roman Curia, for their spiritual exercises online. So it's not just the rosary that he is joining online, but also these exercises. And in the meantime, I was also very busy over the weekend, Pauline, just like the Pope, as I got an exclusive look into life inside the Vatican City state. Here is what life is like in the smallest country in the world.
It was a quiet and still morning inside the Vatican City state. No Swiss guards or cars lined up outside a simple guest house, signifying the principal is not around. This is the home that Pope Francis chose inside the 44-hectare Vatican City state.
Nakikita niyo yung Vatican flag na yan? Diyan nakatira si Pope Francis sa guest house o tinatawag na Casa Santa Marta. Imbis na doon siya sa Apostolic Palace kung saan tradisyonal na namamalagi yung Santo Papa, pinili ni Pope Francis na dito na lang tumira. Kasi yung guest house na yan ay talagang tinitirahan ng mga kardinal kapag pumupunta sila dito para bumoto sa isang conclave. Si Pope Francis, simula 2013, hindi na umalis dyan pagkatapos siyang mahirang na bagong Santo Papa.
A humble home instead of a palace, Pope Francis set the tone right at the start of his papacy by saying he wants to live a simpler and more communal life. He's the first pontiff in 110 years to choose not to live in the Grand Apostolic Palace. Instead, he's made it his office, meeting important people and greeting pilgrims there at the Sunday Angelus, and opening up parts of it to tourists, bringing more revenue to a financially troubled Vatican. Well, the Vatican certainly does not appear to be lacking. Spanning over half of the city-state, about 23 hectares, are the breathtaking Vatican Gardens, a tranquil paradise in its own right. This Garden of Eden features elegant fountains and serene nature trails, adorned with sacred images and devotions, creating a space of spiritual beauty. Established in 1279 by Pope Nicholas III, the Vatican Gardens serve as the Pope's place of play, contemplation, and relaxation. They also weave the state's rich tapestry of art, history, and religion. Among the highlights are the numerous depictions of Mary, with Pope Francis often seen in prayer at the Lourdes Grotto, a place close to his heart. The small tulip garden, offered to Pope John Paul II by the Polish people during his liturgical memorial, symbolizes purity and unconditional love. This turtle pond by Pope Pius IV's 15th century villa, as seen in the movie Conclave, the majestic Fountain of Dragons commissioned by Pope Gregory XIII, and the well-manicured garden pathways themselves that Benedict XVI often walked. Yet the Vatican City state is not just the seat of the Holy See. It is also an independently running country with a government of its own. In 1929, the Lateran Treaty separated its territory from Italy. In fact, it has its own bank, police station, parish, mall, grocery, colleges, radio station, train station, and its own seat of government. It mints its own euros and issues its own passports and license plates. It even has a gas station inside, loading tax-free fuel for Vatican employees.
Dito sa helipad na ito nakita si Pope Benedict XVI sa kanyang mga huling sandali bilang isang active na Santo Papa. Mula sa helipad na ito, siya ay lumipad patungo sa Castel Gandolfo kung saan niya sinimulan ang kanyang retirement.
And just like any household that must have its source of income, tourist revenues from St. Peter's Basilica, the Vatican Museum, the Sistine Chapel, the Apostolic Palace, and the summer home at Castel Gandolfo play a crucial role in supporting the church's activities. These funds help cover the Vatican's operating costs and maintain a pension fund for retired and ailing clergy. However, this delicate financial balance has become increasingly challenging in recent years, with the pandemic lockdowns further exacerbating the imbalance. In order to plug the widening financial gap, Pope Francis has appointed a woman as governor of the Vatican, saying women manage better than we do. He has also created a commission on donations for the Holy See to ask for help from the 1.4 billion Catholic faithful after a reported pushback on proposed budget cuts from cardinals. This signifies a step towards reforming the sturdy Vatican bureaucracy. It seems the 88-year-old pontiff has his plate full, even as he recovers in the hospital from double pneumonia. It's no surprise that Pope Francis continues to work from his papal apartment, with a 2,000-year-old house to keep and a church to lead through conflict, climate change, and information warfare. Pope Francis knows change must begin from within.
Pauline, after I went in there, I got a better sense of what Pope Francis was dealing with prior to his hospitalization. He was dealing with all sorts of stress internally, externally, dealing with conflicts around the world. And apart from that, he had financial woes to take care of inside the Vatican. We have been told that prior to his hospitalization, he was already creating a special task force to do a statewide auditing. Now, that's not really to target any single individual, but to actually improve the fiscal discipline of the whole city-state. As Pope, he is leader of the church, but he is also leader of the political institution, even if he appointed a female governor. So the Pope really tried to push for reform, not just with his pronouncements that were a little bit controversial and rung throughout the walls of the churches around the world, but also with his own leadership to his church leaders inside, to his clergy, to his cardinals, bishops, and more. And now we understand the full scope of what he was dealing with and why he is still working even from his hospital bed at the Gemelli Hospital. He continues to respond to therapy, to respiratory and motor physiotherapy, but the Vatican says that we will get updates every other day now because he remains to be in stable condition. Pauline?
Well, Gretchen, that was definitely an amazing inside look inside the Pope's residence there in the Vatican. And it's certainly great news to start the week to hear that his condition has been improving. But speaking of that, I mean, tell us more about the faithful's reaction to the Pope's improving condition.
Pauline, talagang masaya ang lahat kasi nakahinga, no? Parang nakahinga, and then you could also feel the tension in the air has gone down. When I went into the Vatican, people were a lot more relaxed, and we hope to see the same thing. The rosaries at night continue though, even with the Pope's improving condition, gabi-gabi yan, hindi nagtatapos yung pagdarasal. At the prognosis remains guarded. He is still 88 years old. He's still in critical condition. Anything could still happen. Do remember in the past weeks, he was doing fine, and then suddenly there was an attack. So they are not removing the guarded prognosis, but the fact that they're mentioning that he has slight gradual improvements and that he is now eating solid food is something that the Catholic faithful is definitely rejoicing about.
Well, hopefully, Gretchen, I mean, after all these signs of improvement, the Pope finally eating and seeing his secretaries, is what follows is an image of him waving from the Gemelli Hospital, right? Finally seeing him in good health. But ito, Gretchen, you've already been covering the Pope there in Rome for a week now. Tuloy-tuloy yung mga storya mo araw-araw. But we wanted to ask you, ano ba yung pinakatumatak sa'yo while covering this story about the Pope's health?
Ang pinakatumatak sa akin is talagang palaban nitong si Pope Francis. Fighting spirit, ika nga. Tayo parang iniisip natin kahit 88 years old na siya. I mean, he's done a lot through his life, right? He can literally, I mean, we've seen the older people and then they can put things to rest. But what people inside have told me is that he has still a lot of things that he wants to do. Marami pa siyang kailangang ma-solve na mga problema. Bukod dun sa financial woes ng Vatican, he really wants to be part of the solution of ending conflicts around the world. That's from an inside source inside the Vatican nung pumasok tayo doon. Ang nakwento rin sa atin nga, kasi nga sabi ko, uuwi na ako kasi okay naman na si Pope. Pero sabi sa akin, teka, sigurado ka ba? Kumbaga parang, he was also putting me on guard when it comes to that, na parang huwag kayong mag-relax, no? Kailangan tingin niyo muna, no? Make sure that, he's doing fine because people are still on alert. We also tried to ask for interviews with some people inside, but they don't want to talk because of the sensitivity of the situation. I mean, it's here in Rome or in the Vatican, it is bad taste to be able to talk about anything. Kaya parang pag kunwari yung mga celebrations sa hinaharap, parang ayaw pa pag-usapan, yung mga gagawin sa hinaharap, ayaw pang itakel, ayaw din magpa-interview because ayaw nila ma-offend si Pope. I mean, para kang may lolo na may sakit tapos everything is on hold. Ganon yung pakiramdam dito, ano? Everybody's trying to be careful, but there's also a lot of fake news going out on social media about the next pope, about this cardinal being a strong candidate, this and that, this and that. Ang daming fake news. None of them have been confirmed here. All we know is that there are problems inside, and we have heard it from several people already. But Pope Francis is a fighter. You can see it in the spurts in his medical bulletins na hindi siya nagiging okay, tapos bigla lumalaban nagiging okay, tapos bigla nagkakaroon naman ng problema, tapos bigla magiging okay na naman. So that's him actually fighting through his sickness. He wants to be alive, he wants to remain alive, and he wants to do more than being alive. He actually still wants to lead the church, and that is a good sign.
Well, it's that fighting spirit that is inspiring a lot of people. But Gretchen, thank you very much for giving us some good news to start the week. That was Morning Matters host Gretchen Hall reporting live from Rome in Italy.